Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that's got everything for us photographers. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do a low-cost, high-key styled portrait using things from around the house. So that means a white wall. I don't actually have a white wall, so this stretched white fabric is the next best thing for me. But from my windows, I've actually got the net curtains out my windows. So these are going to combine with some light, and my light's just going to come from a Flashpoint Speedlight. We might throw a softbox in there as well. Whilst I'm setting all this up, don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss a video right here on Adorama TV, and we have new content pretty much every single day. So for now, I'm going to get my light set, let's get a model in, let's get shooting. So to help me out today, I've got the amazing Sophie. Sophie is going to be the model for this shoot, and you can see a couple of things that have already happened. Firstly, she's already underneath the netting. She's that keen, she's under it already, and she's wearing white clothes. Now that's really important for this because we've got this whole high-key style going on, so wearing something white fits in with the white background and the white netting. But because Sophie is also an excellent makeup artist, she also has amazing white makeup. So the whole thing has come together really well. First thing we're going to do is look at lighting for this setup. So there's a few places we could put the light, and I'm going to start with the most obvious, but not necessarily the best position, which is the light right in front of Sophie like this. Let's just take a test shot and see how this looks. Okay, Sophie, here we go. Well, it doesn't look great. In fact, it looks grey and underexposed, and this is exactly what can happen if you have a scene with lots of white in it and you're using TTL, automatic flash. So what I've done is to switch to manual flash, which means I'm taking complete control of the amount of light that comes out of the flash to get the whites as bright as I think they need to be. Well, that worked okay, but there's a rather obvious and quite dark shadow behind Sophie, which slightly takes away from this whole high-key style that I'm after. So what I've done is I've moved the light around to the side. Now, what this should do is throw any shadows over to the right-hand side and hopefully more out of shot than they are at the moment. It will affect the results slightly, so let's just take a test shot and see how this looks. Okay, Sophie, here we go. And this starts to look much better. This is definitely feeling a lot more like a high-key shot. I like that slight graduated shadow off to the right-hand side, but I wonder what the light would look like if we did it from above. So for the third lighting setup, I've got the light basically pointing straight down over the top of Sophie. It's on a grip arm, and you'll notice that the light is mostly in front of her, which means we'll get maximum light into her eyes, but a little bit of light on the background. You'll also notice that Sophie is really close to the background. That is on purpose, because if she moved away, then the background would go darker and would lose that whole high-key effect that we're after. Okay, let's take a shot like this, see how it looks. Here we go, Sophie. That's great. I'm going to do one more. It works really well when Sophie's looking at me, but it works even better when she looks up into the light. That way we get maximum amount of light into her eyes, which gives a very dramatic effect. There's also some nice light drop off at the edges. This is all working really well. So let's take a few pictures like this. Sophie, are you ready? Yeah. Okay, here we go. And just to mix it up a little bit, I'm going to swap to my 40 to 150mm lens for a slightly tighter crop. next setup, I've changed things slightly. You'll notice that the light, well, that's actually still the same light in the same place, but now, rather than covering Sophie in netting, I've dragged the netting out. I've made this sort of tunnel of net, at least that's kind of my idea, and I've used just some random things from around the studio to put it all together. My idea is simply to shoot through the tunnel and see what results we get. So, well, let's take a test shot and see how this looks. Okay, Sophie, here we go. And it looks pretty good, except it's not quite what I'm after. There is definitely some darkness around the edges where the light drops off, and I'm using quite a wide angle lens, so we're really seeing that quite dramatically. What I've done is to make this shoot even cheaper, because now I've got rid of the softbox. It's just a bare Speedlight. I'm going to use the ceiling as my light modifier. So I've got the flash on its wide zoom. It's going to fire light up into the ceiling. It'll hit the ceiling, bounce around and come back down onto Sophie with a nice soft lighting effect, but light from above, which is how I liked it in the previous shots. Now I've already roughly worked out the exposure. Let's see if this actually works. Here we go, Sophie. I'm going to take a test picture. And this looks great. The soft lighting works really well. Sophie's makeup and outfit are really looking good here too. There's detail in the netting. Everything has come together. So I think what we need to do now is take a few shots like this. So Sophie, are you ready? Yep. Okay, here we go. It's always great to work with Sophie as a model, but she's also a makeup artist who's done Hollywood blockbuster movies, which does give me a bit of an advantage. So here's a way to get reduced saturation skin tones in post-processing using Lightroom or Camera Raw. So first of all, any adjustments you want to do them now. So I'm going to take away some texture and clarity just to give the whole image a bit of a glow, but it's really the color mixer I'm interested in, and specifically the targeted adjustment tool, making sure I have saturation as my option. Now this used to be a tool along the top, but now it's part of the color mixer, but it works in exactly the same way. Sample a color you want to adjust by clicking it and holding the mouse button down, and then if you go up, you'll increase the saturation, or if you go down, you'll decrease the saturation. And you'll notice as I go up and down, still holding the mouse button down, the oranges and yellows move because the color I originally clicked on was an orangey yellow. And I think the right color for Sophie in this particular case is probably around about there. There you go. There's my final picture completed. The Flashpoint Zoom Speedlight. It's probably the cheapest flash that I own. Actually, no, it is. I think it is the cheapest flash that I own. It's definitely one of the most versatile, and that's one of the reasons I love using this flash. Now, if you've enjoyed this video or you've got any questions, leave me a comment below. Click on the bell icon and you'll never miss a video right here on Adorama TV. And of course, I can put this back in my windows now whilst you click on the subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.